Hi guys, Mr. Jaeger here, and welcome back to another channel update. Huzzay! So we are back in June, and admittedly a little later into June, but it's roughly still around the same time, dated the 7th of June. 75 years since the invasion of D-Day. GG. It's awesome and sad at the same time, because on one aspect, it's awesome to think that we still appreciate the amount of dedication and appreciation to the veterans of those days is nothing short of incredible. And I got incredibly lucky, if you saw one of my posts, to see a whole bunch of C-47s flying over my house whilst they were doing their preparations, and they did have the paratroopers ready to reenact the invasion of Normandy. And it is probably the most incredible sight I ever saw, and I couldn't take a photo of it because the planes were like semi-dots in the sky. I got one good shot though, but it was beautiful, and I like hearing the rumble of the engines. And it wasn't just the C-47s. They had Spitfires, Hurricanes, Mustangs, and it was incredible. But it also was sad because I knew that this is probably the last big anniversary event where we're going to see veterans. I think from now on we're going to lose most of the veterans who remember being there, and soon it will be nothing. No one will be around of memory. Most of the people who have fought that have probably passed on. I've met a few veterans who've probably passed on by now. So it's a great shame, but I'm also immensely humbled by it, and it satisfied a curiosity to hear all those planes flying overhead. But no, on to the news. First being a somber moment. So, the first bit of news. Graphics card. Yay! That is why we weren't able to upload anything on the Wednesday, because I just installed my graphics card on the... Was it the Tuesday? Or was it the Wednesday? No, it was the Monday of that, but I was working the Tuesday, so I couldn't really test it. So Wednesday became the day of testing, and Thursday I was working, so I couldn't really do anything about that. And at the time, unfortunately, my graphics card took away my other monitor, which, as we will see... creaky chair, sadly has now been retired. I believe, well, that chair. The monitor was with us for at least 9, possibly 10 years. Yeah, I am very sad. I am quite sad to see that lovely monitor go. I mean, it doesn't owe me for anything, and it served me immensely well. But the positive, if we can get it to work, though, the white balancing. I tried recording this earlier. Oh god, the balancing. Yeah, so we now have 2 monitors again. Well, huzzay! So, and they're of the same monitor type. So instead of it before, where it used to be, apologies for any frame loss, whereas before it used to be, god. Oh, it's just ever so slightly dipped the wrong way. Yeah. So yes, whereas before it used to be like 1650 by 1080 and whatever, it's now they're both equally as good, and I love that. So yes, new graphics card, and as such we now have new monitors to work with it, which is lovely. And now hopefully in the future I'll be able to diversify my content. Now I did say I've mentioned about diversification of content a fair amount. But unfortunately, it hasn't quite worked as it intended. No, unfortunately, the content that I've been aiming for, I haven't really been able to do. And this is because the content I'm aiming for is stuff like DCS World and Project Cars 2. Now, again, I don't know how I'm going to implement them. I do want to implement them. It's the whole thing about divisions. There's just loads of things I've wanted to do and I've said I will do, and then nothing ever happens with them. So what I want to try and do is get into the habit of doing something, even if it's a small amount of videos here and there, just to add that extra punch of variety, and also the ability to show the games I actually quite like playing. Because a lot of the time, there are games I want to play, and I do enjoy playing, but I don't because I need to record for this, I need to record for that. And so and the whole the 3 series of Total Wars has not helped. Obviously, we're kind of stuck at the moment because I've got the 3 series I need to finish. Me wanting to get on and jumping on to do, for example, the Warhammer series, which I'm intending on doing at some point fairly soon. Well, I'm intending on recording as soon as I finish this. Bag. Anyway, so yes, I intend on recording more of that series and getting that out. Then, of course, we've got Spartan Invasion, which I'm enjoying as a series. Both the Spartan Invasion and the Chosokabe series I'm enjoying a lot. Warhammer I enjoy, but it's nowhere near as much as my Spartan Invasion series, which is quite enjoyable. So, yeah, that one's coming along. But yeah, previously, there are games that I've wanted to play, that I've gotten into playing, that I don't play because I need to record for other series and other stuff, and because I've got work. The time I have to enjoy the games that I like is ever smaller, so I have to end up, like games like Tarkov and Star Citizen, I'd have to either dedicate a shit ton of time to, which I can't because I got work, or I do what I've done now, which is I don't really play them. And it's a shame, because Tarkov is a bitch, and it's annoying as shit, but it's, it's a game I know I suck at, but if I can get into it, that'd be great. But that game I'm less likely to get into, because it's one of those games that you have to be Rita ruthless with all of the way of playing it. Like, you have to just one tap everyone you see if you're alone. And yeah, that game I'm not so great on. Star Citizen, though, I would like to do a little bit more with, but again, you'd have to sink a lot of hours into it and really get into it. Otherwise, you can't. Yeah, it's a time sinker game, and that's something that's a bit of an awkward thing for me at the moment. So, but no, what else? What else? Oh yeah, so basically, with long ramble short, with this new graphics card, I hope to add some more diversity and some extra style and flair that also will, allow me to enjoy the games that I've spent a fair amount of money on, but also games that I actually do enjoy. Because, growing up, I used to play loads of flying games. Microsoft Combat Flight Simulator 3, especially. I mean, I clocked about easily 400 hours into that game as a kid. I never played much of the campaigns, because I sucked. But I definitely played a fair amount of the... skirmish modes, the flying around with my own sort of thing. I'd make my own missions where I would bomb stuff. And it would be enjoyable as all hell. And then I slowly but got out of the flying sim games and went on more to ground-based combat. And now I've done my fair share of the ground-based combat. Now I kind of want to take to the skies again. So it's difficult, because also I don't know many people who play these sort of things. So getting into that sort of thing without friends alongside is rather difficult. But again, it's something that I'm going to intend on trying to do at some point. I just need to A, learn how to play them properly, and B, find people who can play alongside them. So, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Okay, going to next bit of news. So the next bit of news is holiday. Yes, so I will be going away for about a week, roughly a week. So I'll be heading out of the 13th of June, which is next Thursday, and I will be back. I don't know. Here's the thing, because basically I'm going off to see my good friend, or best friend, Mr. Wild James, and you may recall him from my earlier videos back in 2013, in fact. And he's getting married, which is lovely. So I'm going to be meeting him as well for the first time, which is going to be absolutely lovely. Like, real life as well. Like, I've known him for so long, like 9 years, but but I've never actually met him face to face. So yeah, this is going to be awesome. So I will be going off to see his wedding, which is lovely. And we're just going to do a few things, which is awesome. So again, I don't know when I'll be back, but obviously throughout the Friday the 14th, Monday 17th, Wednesday, and the following Friday, I will intend to upload some level of content so that you guys are all good and we're all lovely and it's all peachy. But again, we'll go with that. So that's going on. So that's awesome stuff there. So if I'm not responsive as much, that is why. But speaking on going from talking about content, actually before we do the last big subject, I think I'll talk about the 3 times a week thing. So basically, because of how things have been going and because of how there are times where I don't upload on the same sort of day, I'm thinking of experimenting with a system where it basically, instead of specific days a week that I upload, I more or less just promise I will upload 3 times a week, which may or may not work. I may end up sticking with the schedule that I previously had, where I intend to upload on the Monday, the Wednesday, and the Friday, but at the same time, if I do that, if I do end up having a point where I don't upload on the Monday, then at least on either the Tuesday or maybe even the Wednesday, then I can try and aim for at least 3 times a week, worst case 2 times a week, given what's been happening. Again, scenario depending, of course, but this is more of an experiment than anything, so it's more like, if nothing really changes and I end up uploading a lot more on the Monday, the Wednesday, and the Friday, then obviously it's not going to work, and I'll just say, well, occasional dips may happen where I don't upload on the day, and in fact it's the following day, or I don't upload at all, sort of deal. But it's sort of like, if I don't have the pressure of the day, maybe it'll help out when it comes to content release, because then it can be more like 3 times a week, is a lot easier to maintain than, say, 3 specific days a week. Who knows? Maybe that might be the way of doing it. I don't know. But again, just to let you guys know, that's my intention. Whether or not it works, it's completely experimental. But I'm just throwing this out there so that you guys are aware of it. So the last bit of big news before we wrap this fairly long channel update up: Armor 3 to be exact. So for about, well, going on at least 3, 4, 5 years, I have been doing content for Armor 3, and yeah, it's, well, dedicated, I'd say, content for Armor 3. It's not been super dedicated, but I've been doing stuff with the Armor 3 and the Operation Flashpoint series. Well, I've been playing Operation Flashpoint and been doing stuff with Armor 2 and Armor 3 for an extremely long time. Like, when I was a kid, I clocked in probably 1,500 hours worth of hours on Operation Flashpoint, single player, and even before mods, like before I discovered mods. And then when I did limited amounts of stuff with them. I figured out how to do, I import units with mods and like custom equipment and whatever, and I'd make up my own war scenarios. And I used to play a lot of that stuff in the day, so much. And so I felt that, and playing through Armor 2, I-44, all those sort of things, but now in Armor 3, where I've been doing my thing with the 10th MD, my content, my desire to play the game has just dwindled, like, over the last 6 months, to the point where I'm feeling the burn. I'm feeling burnt out of that game, and it's sad. I don't think I'm ever gonna, so for the time being, what I'm in the process of doing now is I'm taking a break from Armor 3, and in terms of YouTube, I'm cutting, obviously, the content because I'm not recording any content. So this is more of a message to those who have subscribed to me because of Armor 3. If I am not going to be making any more Armor 3 content for a very long time. So if you wish to unsubscribe, thank you very much for sticking with me up until this point. I very much appreciate you being here. And I, hope that you can find some decent content providers. I know that there is, obviously, you've got Soviet Womble, you've got Alias 8. There's so many decent YouTubers out there. There's obviously Operator Drewski. There are so many YouTubers out there or content creators who can do Armor 3 content, who have done it beautifully. Rimmy as well, he does good Armor 3 content. So yeah, that's my sort of stance on it now. Is the game for me is fun, but I can't feel the enjoyment. Like, it was a fun game, but lately when I've been doing the ops, it just feels so stagnant and dull, and I don't feel the enjoyment out anymore. And when you have a good op, it's a great idea, but when you have a somewhat shitty op, it really kills any kind of momentum to play that game. So yeah, it's a shame, but at the same time, rather than get completely burnt out and never touch the thing again, I will take a break for a while. No idea how long it's going to be, and we'll see how from there on it works. So there. I think that's all the news we've got at the moment. Yep, that's all the news. So, I hope to see you guys soon with some content regarding the graphics card. I do intend on uploading something regarding it. How and why, I don't know. But I do intend on doing something with it. Obviously, because of the graphics card, certain other things are probably going to look nicer. I'll try and download Star Citizen and experiment with that to see how nice it looks. Considering the fact that my previous graphics card was like going every time I played the game, and it ran well-ish, but obviously a new graphics card helped a bit. So anyway, I will love and leave you guys there. So if you like this kind of content, let me know in the comment section down below, clicking on the like button, and of course subscribing to the channel. And if you like anything like that as well, don't forget to hit the notification bell, because YouTube sucks. We all know it. But if you hit the bell on the thing, it'll at least overwrite the algorithms, hopefully, and show that I've uploaded something. So, I will thank you once again for watching, and thank you also much for the, 1,400 subscribers. Now, 1,430, in fact, I think. Jesus Christ. That's a lot of people. And, yeah, I will see you then. This is Mr. Jaeger, signing out.